Therwan Saranai. Before we start, I want you to agree with me that you won't be offended, whatever I'm going to say. Because then make yourself happy. We must speak the truth, even though it's bitter. Even though it hurts. Otherwise, we can't cure our wounds. We should be intelligent enough to speak the truth, discuss the truth. Otherwise, what's the point in having a Dhamma discussion? Therefore, from now, we will speak the truth. We will discuss the truth, even though it's bitter, even though it hurts. But I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to say any offensive thing. Therefore, please don't be offended, whatever I say. Perhaps you don't get this. When I say something, you won't get it. But I want you to think about that. Later you will understand and you will realize. Then you will understand the truth. Then you will see that I told all those things out of compassion. That's the love I can offer you. I can't let anything happen to you because I'm a noble friend to you. If I can blame you and take you to the correct path, I'll do that. But I'm not going to. But I'll do that. This is what your mother did. Can't you remember? She didn't leave you to do anything you want. Because she loved you so much. She didn't want you to go to hell. She didn't want you to stumble. Therefore, she always advised you and helped you. Then you can have a bright future. That's the same thing I'm going to do. I'm going to let you have a bright future. Otherwise, you will lose your future, ladies and gentlemen. You will lose this. You'll lose every opportunity of happiness. You won't be able to know the meaning of happiness. You can get this with the Dhamma. The Dhamma of the Buddha is not a different thing to the truth. We are talking about the truth of nature. From now, we are going to talk about nature. If you understand that, you will realize that you are nature. Until that, you behave differently. Nature never supports. Therefore, you have to do your own things. You have to maintain things. That's why you are suffering. When I say you are suffering, perhaps you don't believe because you are not crying. Because people think that crying is suffering. Then one day they will say that committing suicide is suffering. That means when they come to that end, then they think that, oh, I'm suffering. That's why I wanted to commit suicide. No. People are suffering. Everybody is suffering in this world, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody is suffering. Because everybody has to maintain something. But if you can be nature, You are nature. But the problem is, it's really difficult for you to understand that. You are nature. You are not different to nature. You are nature. But the problem is, you maintain things. That means you are not nature, but you are nature. What's the difference between these two? You have a false sense, ladies and gentlemen. You have a false sense. Because of that sense, you think that you are an entity. You are not nature. But nature is not an entity. Nature is nature. I'll explain to you these things. Therefore, first of all, I want you to understand this. I want you to understand the purpose of the Dhamma and purpose of your being here. If you can't understand that purpose, you waste your time. If you are here only to understand this, or only to listen to this, I would say, only to listen to this, and consider this as another sermon. Oh, we have heard another sermon. That was fantastic. It's pointless. Perhaps I will tell you 10 facts, 100 facts, 100 things. Don't take all of them. Take at least one. Take at least one and try to implement that. You will win. I'll show you how. I'll show you how your mind works. I'll show you how your body works. Only thing I can't show you is how you work. Because there is no such thing called you. That's only a false sense of existence. When I say that it's a false sense of existence, you can't believe that, perhaps. That's why we need to learn this. That's why we need to learn about nature. Because we are nature. I can't say that you are part of nature. You are nature. This table is nature. Nothing is artificial in this world. Not only a wild dog is nature. Your dog also nature. But you can't believe that. Because your dog is yours. You think that you have created it. If something is in jungle, that's nature. That's how people believe. If something belongs to you, that's artificial. That belongs to you. No. This chair, which is plastic, someone can say that, oh, it's artificial because it's plastic, it's not natural. No, it's natural. No one can create carbon atoms, ladies and gentlemen. You can't even create a single strand of hair. Then how can you say that? Everything is not nature. No one can create a carbon atom. No one can create an electron. No one can create that. Nature creates it. When I say nature, in the future we will talk about nature differently. But now when I say nature, perhaps you take it as an entity again. Because nature. The problem is, due to ignorance and attachment, your mind always observe and try to realize that everything is an entity. Because that's its belief. The mind strongly believes that everything is an entity in this world. Therefore, it wants to see things as entities. That's why it wants to divide things, separate things, differentiate things. That's why here you can feel that, oh, this is me and this is you. And we are men and they are women. We are Sila Shravikas and others are Sila Vesis. So on and so forth. The mind likes to separate things. Because when something is separated, the mind is pleased. Because it feels that it's correct. Don't you feel that? Don't you want to feel that you are correct all the time? Whatever you think, that is correct. Whatever the thought comes to your mind, oh, that is correct. That's how the mind is. This is not a characteristic of you. This is a characteristic of the mind. It always wants to be correct. Because it bears different views. That's how you feel that you bear different views. Therefore, you fight for your views. If you have a marriage life, you know that. You have your own views. You have your own opinions. Therefore, you fight for that. That's how your marriage, you know, I don't have to say. Because everybody has their views. Everybody has their opinions. They fight for that. They want to prove that their views and opinions are correct. They are the right things. These are not characteristics of you and yourself, ladies and gentlemen. These are the characteristics of the mind. The mind is so stubborn. It's so stubborn because it's vexed, ladies and gentlemen. When the mind is vexed, it's not soft. You may have experienced these things. When you are happy, at least when you feel pleasure, I can't say that you are happy. Don't be offended, please. Because happiness, actually, I don't want to say this, but I will say this and I will explain this in the future. There is no such thing called happiness. Happiness is the natural state of mind. That's it. What you have experienced is pleasure, not happiness. People want to achieve pleasure, not happiness. Because if you have achieved happiness, actually that happiness comes only once. After that, you experience only your natural state of mind. That's the only thing you will experience after that. Once you become an arahant, perhaps you come to the monastery because you want to become an arahant. If I ask why, if I say that if you become an arahant, you can't be born again, oh, then I don't want. I want to be born and I want to be happy. That's what people need. Because they don't have the correct understanding of the Dhamma and the nature. Because they believe that they are an entity. Therefore, they want to maintain the entity. But when you maintain the entity, there are two things. Especially you can feel two things. One is suffering. The other one is happiness. Therefore, people want to stay in life. They want to be alive. And after that, they want to be happy. Therefore, if I ask you to attain Nibbana and say that if you attain Nibbana, then you won't be born again, then perhaps you won't come here. Therefore, I'm not going to say that. But I'm going to say that once you achieve Nibbana, you will live forever. That's why people believe in Hinduism. That's why people believe in Christianity. I'm not insulting them. But that's what they believe. They can live all eternity. They can live forever with happiness. Because when you go to heaven, that's why people want to go to heaven. Everybody wants to go to heaven, you know that. But no one is ready. No one wants to do anything to go to heaven. And they are waiting. They are waiting. Eventually they will die and they will go to heaven. When they go to heaven, they won't feel suffering. That's how they believe. And that's how some people let them believe. Therefore, people don't want to do anything to go to heaven at least. But I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, you can go to heaven. But that's not the end of suffering. You will suffer there. When we understand how suffering is created, you will realize that. By going to heaven or even Brahma world. Beyond that, you have to suffer. Because suffering is created. Suffering is created due to ignorance and attachment. If you go to heaven, by eradicating ignorance and attachment, you will be happy. But you will be happy, but you can't feel happiness. It's like, you don't have a headache. Let's think about that. You don't have a headache. Do you feel something different? No, you don't have it. But when you have a headache and you take paracetamol and now it's gone. Now you feel something different. You feel it only once. After that, you won't feel, because that's your natural state. Happiness is also the same. If you want to feel happiness, you will feel happiness only once. After that, that will be the natural state of mind. Then you won't feel it again. But people don't like this. Therefore, actually, I don't want to talk about that. Or I don't want to say that there is no such thing called happiness. I would say, there is something called happiness. You can achieve this. Then one day, you will feel it over and over again. Then people will like to attain Nibbana. But the thing is, actually, people will enter to the path. People will come to the sermons. People will listen to sermons, because once they realize the truth, they will leave that happiness behind. Now, if you want to be happy, you are vexed, because you are chasing behind that. You want to be happy, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to be happy, you never achieve happiness. One day, if you can leave everything behind, if you realize that there is no such thing called happiness, there is no such thing called suffering, but suffering is created in your mind, and it's a process. If you can eradicate the process, if you can cease the process, you will be okay. That's the thing. You will be okay, not you will be happy. You will be okay because you are not suffering anymore. You are not vexed anymore. If you are not vexed, you won't find even the Dhamma. But you came here because you are vexed. You came here because you are suffering. You want a cure. Isn't that the truth? If you are happy and if you are not vexed, if you are so cool, why did you come here? Why did I ordain? If I had a fantastic life, if I didn't feel any suffering, if I didn't feel any vexation, why did I ordain? I ordained because I was vexed. I wanted a solution for this. I have been trying, as you all. We all have been trying. We have tried a million things to make ourselves happy, because we thought that happiness exists. We misunderstood, ladies and gentlemen. We were talking about pleasure. If you are vexed, you will experience pleasure. That's it. If you are vexed, you will experience pleasure. Therefore, if you are vexed, you will be happy. But if we can eradicate vexation, then you won't be happy or you won't be suffering. That's it. That's the path we are going to learn. Then you will have a calm mindset, tranquil mindset. That's it. You won't be shaken. No one can hurt you. No one can hurt you. No one can disturb you. Once you have the mind which is in its original state. This is the purpose of this sermon. That's why we are here. But the problem is our mind is defiled. Therefore, whatever I say, perhaps you will take it as an entity. Oh, he said this to me. Why did he insult me? That's why I told you at the beginning. We need to come to an agreement. You should believe that I'm not going to insult you. We are going to talk about the mind. We are not going to talk about people. We are not going to talk about women, men, children. We are not going to talk about any of them, even animals. Perhaps when I say something about animals, then you will be offended. Oh, he insulted my dog, my puppy, my loved one. If he insults my husband, I can bear. But he insulted my dog. Perhaps. Let's find out the truth. And let's implement this. When I say that don't kill animals, please don't do that. That's what you had to do. When I say that, please don't kill animals, don't harm animals, don't harm others, can't you do that? But I don't have to say 10 things. We can start small. Then perhaps you say, no, we came here to listen to the Dhamma and because we want to understand Buddhism. No, you don't have to understand Buddhism. You need to implement Buddhism, ladies and gentlemen. The Lord Buddha's saying is to be implemented, not to be educated. If you can take one thing into your life and start implementing it, you will win. I'm telling you, this is what I did. This is what they do. Let's see that. Let's do that. Promise me. Take each thing and we implement that. That's it. If I ask you to give something to others, give your heart to others, be compassionate to others, offer your compassion, work out of compassion, talk out of compassion, think out of compassion. If I ask you to do that, let's practice that. How do we practice that? Stay somewhere and think about it. Oh, me, and everyone. No, not saying these things. You can show that. When you talk to someone, you can heal their heart. Because they are suffering. You know that they are suffering. Because you are suffering. You have experienced all these things. Why I can be compassionate towards you? Because I was suffering. I'm not saying that I have done everything. I have completed the path. But I have achieved something. Because I'm not the same person who came to this sasana. Great monks, great teachers, taught me things, guided me. Finally, an effect is created. This is the effect. Therefore, I can feel your suffering. That's how compassion is created in our heart. Because I know that you will be okay in the future. I know that you will experience happiness. You will eradicate the process of suffering. Because this is a process. I know that you will do this because I came from the future. I am the future of you. I came from your future. I am the future. I know that you will win this. But you need to implement these things. Perhaps this is hard because you have been practicing different things. Then you should be ready to change. I'm not asking you to ordain, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to. But I'm not talking about young people. Not now. You don't have to ordain right now. You don't have to stay with us right now. But you can start the path. You can start small. Then eventually you will see a big effect. That's what happened to these people. That's what happened to me. That's what happened to our Anagarikas, Swami Vansala's, everyone. If you discuss with them, they will say, I didn't have any idea about my future. I didn't have any idea about my future. I wanted to become a millionaire. That's the thing. That's the only thing I had in my mind. I was righteous, but I didn't want to commit sins. That's the greatest gift I got from my parents and teachers and my merits. I didn't want to commit sins. I don't want to hurt people or anyone. And I have earned merits. When I have earned merits, my life changed. That's what happened to me. Therefore, you don't have to think about your future. Let's think about your present, right now. Right now, if you can create an impact, then a big impact will occur in the future. Therefore, don't try to drag the future into the present. You don't have to do that. Don't try to be an arahant just now. What you need to do is just understand the Dhamma. Just understand the Dhamma and let's implement this. Day by day, we will continue this. We will never ask you to sit somewhere and think or tell things. We ask you to do practical things. Just practical things. When you learn the Dhamma, we ask you to apply the Dhamma into your life. We never ask you to sit and think about that. We ask you to apply the Dhamma into your life. When you apply the Dhamma into your life, you will realize that. Can you remember that before I told you, you are nature? You are nature, ladies and gentlemen, but you will understand that you are nature when you apply the Dhamma into your life one day. Until that, you never understand this. You can't take the understanding of the Dhamma by sitting somewhere and think about it. But when you talk, when you walk, when you move your head here and there, then you will realize that everything is an effect. That's how you should understand that. When you understand this, no one can stop you. But now you stopped yourself, ladies and gentlemen. But you yourself can do this. You yourself can start the journey. I can't. I can ignite you. That's it. But you had to start your own journey because the path is made by walking. I can't create your path. You had to do that. You had to do that. I'm giving you views. I'm teaching you and I'm offering you some views. Take these things and start to think about that. Then if these views come to your mind and fix into it, then you will think accordingly. This is how I think, because I have these views I got from my great teachers, from the Lord Buddha. Therefore, my mind works with those views. That's why I stay in this monastery. That's why I stay in this robe. If a view comes to my mind and says that you need to go and get married, then what will happen? Then I'll do that because no one is there to stop. Because I can't talk about me. I can't talk about self. Nobody is there. Only the mind. When I say nobody is there, don't think that nothing is there. What I said is no body is there. No body means actually no entity is there. There's a process. The process of the mind. When the process of the mind occurs, no one is there to stop. No one is there to change. That's why when you are angry, you do whatever comes to your mind. No one is there to change. Try to experience these things. Whatever comes to your mind, you do that. You implement that. If you don't have anything in your mind, anything good in your mind, you can't do any good into the world. If you don't have that are related to Nibbana, then you don't have a path. That's why, first of all, you need to become a Sri Mentara. Sri Mentara means you need to get the view, the noble view from the Lord Buddha. That means you will realize the world first. When you realize the world, you will have the great views with you. Then the mind starts to work with those views, because the mind always works with views. Then if you come to me and say that, please help me to become a good person, then actually what I can do is I can offer you some views. That's it. I don't have to change you, because there is no such thing called you. I don't have to change your mind, because I can't. I can't touch your mind. I can't do anything to your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Only thing we can do, we means actually everyone. Good people, bad people, noble people, Buddha, everyone. Only one thing they can do is they can offer you some views. If you want to become an infamous person, only thing what I can do is I can give you some bad views. When you're angry, hit someone. That's it. Now, take that idea. Take that opinion. It's a view. Then you took it. Then if you have that in your mind, then whenever you are angry, then you will hit someone. That's what happened to your children. If they see their parents' behavior, they teach. Because views can be taken into the mind by seeing and hearing. Those are the two things you can take views. Therefore, if you want to become a good person, you have to bear good views. If you want to become a bad person, you have to take bad views. Because the process of the mind can't be changed. The process of the mind stays the same, even for the Arahant. It's a process. It's a natural process. You can't change natural things, ladies and gentlemen. You can't change natural things. Only you can change its structure. But now you can see, if we talk about the mind, it's a process. But perhaps you think that mind is an object, because that's how your mind believes, because your mind wants to perceive everything as entities. Whatever I talk to you, if I talk about this pen, then suddenly you will take this one as an entity. If I talk about a color, then you will take this as an entity. If I talk about myself, this a human being, then you will see an entity. You will see Guru Handro here. You will perceive that, because your mind wants to perceive it. The mind always creates that entity by seeing everything. Therefore, whatever I talk to you, you will take everything as entity. That's why you need to be very careful. Because you need to get the correct view, right view. And we need to prove to the mind that everything is not an entity, everything is an effect. If we can realize that everything is an effect, we don't have to say that everything is not an entity. We just need to talk about the truth. We don't have to prove that something is not true. We need to prove that this is the truth. Therefore, if we talk about Buddhism, now we need to come to the noble truth. Noble truth, and we need to come to the main characteristic of nature. The main characteristic of nature is anicca. This is a Pali word. This is a Pali word, and don't try to translate these things to English. Take it. Use the Pali term. If you try to translate anything from Lord Buddha's wordings to other language, it will be distorted. I'm telling you, don't do that. Don't do that mistake again. Because people have done that, therefore they never achieve their happiness, or they never achieve their salvation. I'm telling you, because if you can't get the proper idea of a word, that word means nothing. If you take a word, it's like a capsule. It has its own medicine in it. If you can't get the medicine out of that, you are taking only empty capsules. We have seen some people, they are really keen. They want to achieve their salvation, ladies and gentlemen, but alas, they can't because they don't have the real meanings. They interpret things differently. Therefore, they can't get the real meaning. When I talk about anicca, when I talk about dukkha, don't take the translations. If you take the translation, you will talk about suffering. That's why. That's what happened. When we talk about Four Noble Truths, then the first noble truth is the noble truth of suffering. Now you will try to eradicate suffering. That's it. You will try. You will try forever because you can't eradicate suffering. The Buddha didn't ask us to eradicate suffering. The Buddha didn't talk about suffering, which means crying and suffering. That's not the suffering. Actually, that's not the thing that Buddha said. I can't say that's not the suffering Buddha said because I used the word. The Buddha said dukkha, it has a different meaning. The Buddha said sukha, it has a different meaning. But when I say sukha, it's not happiness. When I say dukkha, it's not suffering. It has its own meanings because it's not Buddha's meanings, ladies and gentlemen. No one can give a meaning to the Lord Buddha's words unless he's the Buddha. Therefore, we miss the chance to understand nature. We miss it because the main characteristic is anicca, then dukkha and anatta. These are the three things which the Lord Buddha wanted to teach us. These are the main characteristics of nature. Before I told you, you need to understand this. If you can understand this, you will be nature. If you can become nature, you will be happy because you don't have to maintain anything. But and the other thing is, you won't have any expectations. Nature never has any expectation. But in your mind, you always have expectations. You have expectations, therefore, you have a future. When you have a future, means you have expectations. When you have expectation, you are vexed. And you try to maintain these things, and you try to drag the future to the present because you want to experience future, because you like to be in the future. And after that, you have your past. Then you have to move here and there from past to present to the future. Then you have a journey from the past to the present. You have that journey, and you have to move here and there, and eventually in your mind you become an entity. After that, you need to maintain. That's what you do. You have to maintain. That's why you always maintain. If I tell you one small example, you will realize this. Let's talk about your garden and a forest. Then you will realize the difference. Your garden and the forest. If you create a garden, What's the difference between your garden and a forest? Just think about that. If you create a garden, you have to maintain that, because the difference between your garden and a forest is one needs to be maintained, because one has a fixed method, fixed state. The other is nature. Anything is acceptable. But when you create your own garden, it's fixed. When something is fixed, but remember this please, nothing is fixed in this world. Everything is an effect. But if you can't accept that, and if you believe that everything is an entity, then you try to create entities. Your mind always wants to create entities. That's why when you go to a jungle, when you visit a jungle and you see, then you feel that, oh, this is so beautiful, and you come home and you create a garden by thinking that, oh, I have created a jungle. Have you? Have you created a jungle? No, you have created a garden. If you go to a garden, you must feel how vexed it is. I'm not talking about the garden, the person who maintained it. Because the garden has its own way. But nature doesn't have that. By saying that, I'm not asking you to stay as it is. I want your mind to accept this. I want your mind to accept the world. But your mind always wants to change the world. What do you think about that? What do you want, ladies and gentlemen? What do you want, actually? Now I think you want something, but in your life, what do you want? You want to change the world. That's it. Because you can't accept the world. Because you have your own world. And you think that your own world is fixed and correct. That's the right world. Therefore, you want to change the world. That's why you want to change behaviors of your parents, your husband, your wife, your children. Because you can't accept. Because you have created your own way. In Pali, it's called Jati. You have created your own Jati. Jati means something fixed. Attaining Nibbana is eradicate all the Jati you have in your mind. Now you don't have any Jati because you are nature. But actually you are nature. But your mind can't accept that. Because of ignorance and attachment. That's why. When I say because of ignorance and attachment, you should be over the moon. Because before you think that, it's fixed. Suffering is fixed. And you had to suffer. No matter what, you had to suffer. That's what you thought. But the Buddha said that everything is an effect. When you listen to that, when you think that everything is an effect, and if you can realize that, that's the victory. Because now you have a path. But if suffering is fixed, and no matter what, you can't come out of that, then no point in doing all these things. No point in listening to the Dhamma. No point in meditating. No point in discussing these things. Because if suffering is fixed, but the Buddha said nothing is fixed in this world, if you can realize that, you will see the light. Through these sermons, we want you to understand that. We want you to understand that everything is an effect. But your mind should believe that. Believe means not with blind faith. I'm talking about your mind will believe it when it practices the Dhamma. That's why at the beginning I told you, when you listen to the Dhamma, I want you to put into the practice. I want you to do that. Otherwise, there's no point in doing all these things. If you talk about anicca, I want you to apply that. If you come back next week, if we meet next week again, then you will come with a good understanding because you have applied the Dhamma during the week. I'll give you 6 months and you will ordain here. If you don't want, then don't practice. That's it. Especially young people. You will create the path. I'm telling you. Don't think that I brainwash you. I don't do that. I don't want to wash your brain. I want to cure your wound. That's it. Dhamma is a medicine. We can use Dhamma to cure our wounds, cure our heart. Then you can become a doctor. Then you can cure other people's heart. That's what we do. Then you can become one of the greatest people who came to this world. Perhaps now you are a doctor. You heal people's body. But people commit suicide not because of bodily pain, but because of mental pain. Because they are vexed, they are suffering. They do things. They create things. When you go to YouTube, you may have seen creations because of vexation. Then you might think that, this technology is so powerful nowadays. No. What you can see is people are vexed. They need to do something to survive. Actually, what they do is do something to survive. They are doing something to survive. If you ask them to stop, they will commit suicide. If social media is banned, what will happen? They will commit suicide because they have to do something. The easiest thing is seeing and hearing. That's the easiest thing. That's why social media is so powerful nowadays and so popular nowadays. Because you can waste your time, which means you can waste your life. This is what you do. You waste your life. Because when you are vexed, what can you do? Run. You will get tired. Then do some push-ups. No, you get tired. Cook, even you get tired. But watch something, you just need to become a couch potato. And sit somewhere and listen to it. Or sit somewhere and watch it. Then you can pass your life. Because actually, you don't like your life. I don't know, when I say these things, you may be offended, but please don't. You don't like your life, do you? If you like your life, why do you go to parties? Why do you want to watch movies? Why do you want to watch movies and live in those movies? If you love your life. I love my life. Therefore, I never watch movies and stay in there and live in there. I don't want to listen to songs and cry. But before I used to do that. Before I used to watch movies and lived in the movie. Because my life was full of suffering. But when I was in that movie, nothing happens to me. Whatever happened is happening to them. Therefore, I was so happy. I can experience their life, but I'm not affected. Therefore, I used to live in those movies. I used to live in those songs. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, please tell me, why do you listen to songs? Don't you like your normal life? Why do you want a friend, ladies and gentlemen? Why do you want a friend? Don't you like your own life? Don't you like your own thoughts? Why do you want to read books? I'm not talking about something insightful, like novels, so on and so forth. Just tell me why. The only thing is, I'm sorry to say, only thing is you are vexed. You are vexed and you don't like your life. Make your arguments with you. Don't put into me. Go home and start to think, why should I watch a movie? Why do I associate others' thoughts? What about mine? What about my thoughts? What about what I can hear? What about what I can see? Why do you have to create another world and live in there? Why can't I live with my husband? Why should I create a movie and live with that actor? Why can't I live with my wife? Why can't I be satisfied with what I have? Why do you want to marry someone beautiful, more beautiful than your wife, your girlfriend? Why can't you be satisfied with what you have? Why do you want to cook a different meal every day? Why can't you be satisfied with what you have? What you have is you, ladies and gentlemen. What you expect is something different. Therefore, you always expect something different and create. You try to create. You live your life to create new things, to experience those things. That's what the life is. But I'm telling you, you are mistaken. You are deceived. You got the life, this very life you got, one of the sacred life, ladies and gentlemen, because you are a human being. You got this life because you can understand, therefore this life is so sacred, and you got this because now you can use this life to come out of vexation and seize the process of vexation, and you will get the victory forever. This is the reason you got this very life. But if you don't like this, how can I help you? I want you to love your life, not your future. Your life is in the present. That's what you experience. I'm satisfied with what I have. Therefore, I don't have any expectation about new robe. When you offer a robe, then I don't have anything. It doesn't water my mouth. Oh, we are getting new robes. How shameful it is. No, I'm satisfied with this. If I'm satisfied with this, I don't have to think about a robe anymore. Then I can live my life. But you can't live your life. I'm sorry to say these things. That's why I ask you to come to the Buddha and take the refuge, then we will help you. Please understand that you have a problem. You have a problem. You don't like yourself. That's the problem. You are so beautiful, but you apply makeup on your face because you don't like your face. You try to change your hairstyle every day because you don't like it. But you are so beautiful, can't you see? You are so handsome, gentlemen. But why do you change your mustache and beard and maybe your watch, your clothing? Why do you change? Why do you change your shoes? Why do you have a cupboard full of shoes? The only thing is, you can't be nature. When we consider about nature, everything is beautiful. Don't you feel that? Which animal is the most beautiful in the jungle? Just think about that. Which animal is the most beautiful in the jungle? I think almost everything is beautiful in the jungle. If you see a waterfall, it's so beautiful. If you see a tank or river, it's so beautiful. If you see a peacock, it's so beautiful. If you see some mud, it's so beautiful. Everything is beautiful. A muddy pond, it's beautiful. Smelly pond is beautiful because it's nature, because you accept that. But when you create your own pond in your garden, when it is so smelly, then you can't see the beauty. Therefore, we use the Dhamma to be satisfied with what we have. It's a great journey, ladies and gentlemen. Then you don't have to work from 8 to 5. You just need only 1 hour of working. Why? You don't have to. But now, it's an endless pit. You try to fill, but you can't. You earn money every day. Round the clock, you think about how can I earn some money? Because this is not enough. What we have is not enough. And you will bring your children to the world and let them learn what you have learned. Therefore, they also not be satisfied with anything. Therefore, they cry for things. Then you have to earn even more. Then you will earn, and you will die. But I'm pretty sure you will be happy just after you die. That's how you can achieve happiness. Because right now you don't want to be happy. In the present, you don't want to be happy. You want to be happy in the future because you strongly believe that you will attain Nibbana in the future. Yeah? You will achieve your Nibbana in the future. That's why, just tell me this, honestly tell me this. Give your honest opinion. Do you believe that you can become an arahant right now in this sermon? No, because you don't like yourself. You think that you are an... Can I use a word? Can I use a word? Huh? You think you are an idiot. You think, I don't think, I think you are the wisest. I never insult anyone. But you think that you are an idiot because I strongly believe that in this very sermon you can understand the Dhamma and attain Nibbana. I strongly believe in that. I strongly believe that. But you don't believe. You don't believe in yourself because you don't like. You don't like the person who is in the present. You like the person who is in the future. In the future, there's a handsome, beautiful person, wise person will be created. You like that person, therefore you try to drag that person into the present, which is never happened. Which never happens, I'm telling you. Therefore, if you try to achieve your salvation in the future, it never happens. If you want to achieve your salvation, you can achieve it right now. If you want, you can achieve it right now. Therefore, you have to love yourself. But How can you say that? How can you do that? How can you do such practice? I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. Will you do that? You must love yourself. You must love yourself means, ladies and gentlemen, you should be satisfied with what you have. You should be satisfied with what you experienced. Then you don't have any expectation. But now you have expectations because you don't like your present. You like something different. Now can't you hear? Can't you hear a soothing voice? But you don't like it perhaps. Therefore you want to listen to a song when you go home. Therefore, if you think about that song, oh, I'm going to listen to a song after that because this is so harsh and this is so tough. Therefore, I'm going to listen to a song when you go home. When I go home, then think about that. You live in future. You live in future means you can't be satisfied with what you have and you don't like yourself. Or whenever you go to a party, but no, I'm not talking about a forcefully, if you had to go somewhere. I'm not talking because your parents, your husband, your wife, your children asked you to go, then you had to go. I'm not talking about that. I'm not going to change the society, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to. I don't want to change this society because this society is perfect. Can't you see that? Murders are everywhere. Thieves are everywhere. Huh? What do you think? This society is the perfect society. You will see that. But the problem is you have your own society. In your society, you have only good people. That's the problem. If you have only good people in your society, what happened to bad? You are the worst. You are the worst person because you are going to kill, or you are going to separate every bad people and you are going to cast them away. Then you will be the sinners. Therefore, this society is perfect. I don't have to change this. From time to time. But the thing is now, when I say this, if you take this mistakenly, if you take this in the wrong way, then perhaps you won't come to next sermon. Because, oh, this person is mad because he wants murderers to be in the society. But we want to put them into jail. And if we can, we want them to be executed. No. If everyone is good, if everyone is nice in this world, what's the purpose of the Buddha, Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, Lord Krishna? Why did they come to the world? To cure the world. Cure the world means to help someone who need to see the truth. And rest of them stay in the world. Only few. Perhaps this much. This many will attain Nibbana. Others will stay in the world. The Buddha said, he has seen it. Therefore, the society is perfect. If you can't see, then let's practice to see that the society is the perfect society to live. How can you accept your society if you can't accept yourself? Isn't this the perfect you? Just tell me. This is the perfect you. You're perfect. Can't you see that? No. Because you always feel a void. Oh, I'm not fulfilled. I'm not completed. I'm empty. No. You are perfect. Your mind is perfect. Your body is perfect. Your style is perfect. You are so beautiful. You are so handsome. But you don't believe that. Perhaps you think that, oh, he is flattering. That's why you want to change yourself. You go to the mirror and you see that, oh, this is the ugliest face. I don't like this face. I had to change this. Then you spend all of your money to buy a makeup set and apply it, perhaps 2 hours. And you create something which you believe that's the most beautiful thing. Actually, that's also beautiful. Previous one, also beautiful. But you couldn't recognize that because you have something in your mind. If we can erase that, you'll be happy forever. Today, actually, I want you to understand the purpose of the Dhamma, ladies and gentlemen, purpose of this practice. This is a way of life. This is what we do here. We live and learn and practice. That's what we do. Therefore, we don't need a specific place to meditate. A calm place. A silent place. We don't need them. We can meditate with the sound of excavators. They excavate and they create big noise. But it doesn't matter, because if the noise is created in my mind, why can't I think about that? But if I believe that the noise is created in the excavator, then I had to think about that and I had to change it. If the world is created in my mind, I can do anything. I just need to accept that. But we will practice it. Otherwise, you can't do that. You can't just say that, no, I'm going to accept everything, then it will be okay. I know that, but it's not as simple as that. You need to practice. Perhaps you had to take another 10 years, 15 years. Then you might say, oh, I don't want. Then if something I can find instantly, do something instantly, I will practice. Okay, then I'll do that. You come to me here and say, I'm an arahant. Then I said, yes, you are. Then the problem is sorted. Will you be happy then? No. Therefore, you have to wait, because great things takes time. You took 2 years to do your A-levels. Can't you remember that? You took 5 years to complete your degree course. Now you are going to do your last battle. You are going to fight the last battle in your entire sansaric journey. It will take time. I want you to start. I want you to practice every day. Every day. You don't have to change anything. Then don't ask that, oh, well, I'm going to practice now. Do I have to buy a new pair of shoes? Why? To make a necklace and buy? No, why? You don't have to change anything. Do I have to create a silent place in my home? This is what you used to do, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'm sorry to say these things, because when you want to do something, you want to show it to everyone. Look at me. I have heard the Dhamma. Now I'm going to practice. One day I'll become an arahant. You won't. Look, I have created a silent place. I'm going to meditate. I will meditate every morning. You can do these things just to calm down yourself. That's totally fine. But to attain Nibbana, you don't have to do all these things. Do you have a kitchen? That's enough. Do you have a bathroom? That's enough. When you go to the bathroom, you can do a meditation. When you cook, you can do a meditation. When you drive, you can do a meditation, but be careful. You can do your meditation because you just need to apply. Because when you experience something, I want you to apply the Dhamma and take the decision accordingly. Because your mind always takes decisions. It makes decisions all the time, ladies and gentlemen. That's how that's how. Here, in the future, we will learn. Today, perhaps we can't learn everything, you know that, because this is a series and we will talk about these things. You will come here and I will preach to you. I will preach to you what I have understood. And eventually, you will understand these things. Language is not the problem. And we will learn many languages. As many languages as we can. That's our compassion. But whatever language we use, I want you to take the medicine, not the capsule. I can speak to you in Sinhalese what I said. I can give the same sermon in Sinhalese and Hindi, which I know all these three languages. But all these things are words. I don't have three different understandings. I know three languages, but I don't have three different understandings. I have only one understanding. I have understood only one truth, but that means only one medicine. And three types of capsules. If I speak 10 languages, then I have 10 types of capsules, but only one medicine. You need to take the medicine and use it and cure your wound. Then we will realize that you are perfect. That's the main purpose. One day you will say that I am perfect. Everything is perfect. I want you to realize that. Therefore, I don't want to change anything. And if your husband comes to you and asks, am I perfect? Then what should you say? Yes, you are perfect. But something is in his head here, then please tell him. But you are perfect. Can you imagine one day if you can feel that you are okay, you are perfect, then you will be the blessed one. Then you don't have to go to heaven. Actually, why do you want to go to heaven? Because you hate this life. I'm telling you, I don't want to go to heaven. I don't want to go to heaven and go to hell. I don't want to go to Brahma world. I don't have to go to anywhere because I'm okay with what I have. That's the achievement I have achieved. Therefore, your offerings are nothing to me. But for the sadhana, yes, we need that. But your offerings are nothing to me. Therefore, I never do anything because of your offerings. I do everything out of compassion. I want you to be perfect. And perfect voice, perfect speech. If you are perfect, I can make any mistake. I can do any mistake in this language or the Dhamma, whatever. When I precept you, let's assume that when I precept you, perhaps I forget something. Panadipata, then Suramere. Oh, I forgot. But you won't be okay. Oh my God, what happened to this monk? He can't remember even 5 precepts. Perhaps you don't like the way I preach. Don't you have opinions? When you listen to this, this is little bit tough, but if you can smooth this little bit, it will be okay. Don't you have your own opinions? Yes, you may have. Because, ladies and gentlemen, please try to understand. You experience something right now. That's you. If you don't like you and yourself, you will have many opinions. Then you will look for many preachers, because his face is that face is I'll find another one. I'll look for another one because his face is a little bit ugly. Then you go for another one. Oh, his voice is too tough. I don't like it. Then you will find, you will go from here to there, there to there. You will go. You won't achieve anything because you hate yourself. Yourself means what you experience. There is no such thing called yourself otherwise. What you experience is yourself. You experience this voice right now because I don't have a voice. Do you think that I have a voice? No, I have a vibration. I can vibrate my throat, my voice box. I can vibrate it. Then that vibrates air particles. A sound is created in your mind. That's yours. This sound belongs to you. If you hate yourself, you hate the sound. If you see this face, isn't it beautiful? No? Then you hate yourself. Look, now you can take this. And when you ask someone, am I beautiful? No? Then you hate yourself. Actually, when you listen to this initially, you might think that this is mad. But when you dig down and go into deep and get the deepest meaning, then you will see this is the truth. If someone hates himself, he hates everyone. Therefore, don't try to change the world, ladies and gentlemen. There is no such thing called world. Because all the colors are created in your mind, all the sounds are created in your mind, all the taste, all the smells, all the touch, everything, what you can experience is created in your mind. In outside world, you can see things that are made up of 4 basic elements, which means things are made up of subatomic particles that can't be seen and that can't be experienced by a mind. Therefore, you don't have to worry about these things. What you can see is your mind. What you can hear is your mind. What you can hate is your mind. Your mind hates itself. Because your mind has its own opinions. Perhaps it hates its own opinions. What do you think? Can't you attain Nibbana? If you can see this as the problem, I told you, as the problem, only one problem. You have only one problem, ladies and gentlemen. Don't try to find many problems. You don't have many problems in your life. I can allow you to ask 1,000 questions, but I will give you only one answer for that. and it will be the answer. Because you have only one problem and one answer. That's it. Don't you see the path to happiness? If you can be satisfied with everything, if you can stop hating yourself by understanding yourself, if you can understand that what you experience is yourself, what you experience is you, if you can understand that, and if you start to love yourself, then what you love, or you will love what you experience. That means when the voice is created in your mind, then you will love it. And if you love it, just understand that if you love the voice which is created in your mind, then you won't have to expect anything different because you love it. That's how you can stay in the present. To do so, you have to eradicate ignorance and attachment. We don't have any other path, ladies and gentlemen. Some people teach that you can be in the present by only concentrating about the present. You don't think about anything. You only listen to something. You only see something. If you practice like that, you will be in the present. That's completely wrong, ladies and gentlemen. That's completely wrong. But by saying that, I'm not insulting any teacher or teachings. What I'm saying is, this is not the path. Perhaps they quote the Buddha's teaching and say that the Buddha is also said. That's completely wrong. The Buddha didn't say such kind of teaching. The Buddha said, suffering, the wrong word. Can I use Pali word for that? Jati, which is the false sense of existence. Look at this, a false sense of existence and dukkha, or suffering. There are two different things, ladies and gentlemen. False sense of existence and suffering. Then if you talk about suffering, you talk about something burns your heart. Something burns your heart. Just think about that. But a false sense of existence, make yourself happy. The mind feels pleasure at that time when that feeling occurs. That's why even when you are in hell, you like to perceive yourself. Otherwise, when someone is in hell, he shouldn't have experienced his existence, but he experiences it because it's pleasure. The mind can feel pleasure. It's not suffering. Therefore, a false sense of existence, which is Jati. That's the thing we are going to talk about now. Now, Jati. Jati is created due to ignorance and attachment. If you can eradicate ignorance and attachment, Jati won't be created. If Jati means an entity. Jati, when you say Jati, that's a false sense of an entity. The mind thinks that it's an entity. It is created due to ignorance and attachment. Therefore, the only way is the eradication of ignorance and attachment, or cease the process of Jati. Therefore, please don't try to find any other ways. You can't, unless you are the Buddha. Ekayano ayam bhikkave maggo sattanang visuddhiya. The Buddha said there is only one way to attain Nibbana, to achieve your salvation. Only one way. Therefore, we don't have to go for other things. If you don't believe this, then you can try. You can try for few days, few months, few years, but be vigilant. Be vigilant, and you need to decide after that, oh, I haven't achieved anything. I haven't achieved anything, therefore I have to change the path. Otherwise, you will practice the same thing over and over again, but you will expect a different result. According to Sir Albert Einstein, that's insanity. Therefore, let's eradicate ignorance and attachment. To eradicate ignorance and attachment, first of all, we should know that everything is an effect. Everything is a process. There are two things we need to clarify. The mind always believes that everything is an entity. Now we need to prove that no, everything is a process. Everything is a process and everything is an effect. That's what we need to prove. We can prove that by using anicca. That's why I told you, this is the greatest word I ever have come across. Anicca. If you take this mistakenly, your nibbana is over. Because this is the very nature of nature. If you take anything, if you take this color, which color? This color. But you know that when I say this color, I'm pointing at your mind, this color, because color is not here. This red color is not on the surface of the pen. It is in your mind. Therefore, when I say this color, I'm pointing at your mind. Then, creation of a color is a process. Creation of a sound is a process. It happens according to the theory of cause and effect. That is the greatest theory ever. That's called anicca. But someone can say that everything is impermanent. Someone can say that. But I can't understand that, ladies and gentlemen. That's the problem. I can't understand that. How can you say that this color, which is created in your mind, is impermanent? Tell me. To be impermanent, something should be there. Something fixed should be there. Then you can see it fade away, or it transforms from one to another. But if something is an effect, how can you say that if it is not fixed? Because if something is an effect, it's not fixed. Then how can you say that is impermanent? What is impermanent in your body? Tell me one object which is impermanent. Unless you fixed. You can fix your body. You can fix your face and say that, oh, in my childhood, I had a smaller face. Because you fixed it. Now you can see the transformation. Otherwise, you can't see. Because now, what do you have in your body? Are you living in your body? What do you have in your body? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, calcium, all these things. Before, in your childhood, what do you have? Same thing. When you are in your 90s, what will you have? It's the same thing. Then what has transformed? Nothing. But if you fixed something, then you can say that from this point, it happens. But nothing is fixed in this world. Nothing is fixed in this world. Ladies and gentlemen, if you breathe, if you don't eat anything, you don't have anything, and start to breathe, one day, you can become perhaps a skeleton. You don't have to work. You just need to breathe in and out. That's it. When you inhale, you take oxygen into your body. When you exhale, what should you do? You exhale oxygen, then carbon dioxide. From where you got carbon dioxide? No, carbon, because you only took oxygen. But you exhale carbon. How? Where did you get? From the body. From the body. From the body means the body which is made of you, yourself, your father's things, mother's things. No, all these things are creation of the mind, ladies and gentlemen. You are nothing but a lump of atoms, proteins, lipids, carbohydrates, which means carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen. Then I can say that, hello, carbon. But you have a different name. But I can say, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Apart from ladies and gentlemen, what can I use? Hello, periodic table. Because your body is nothing but all these elements. When you are a child, and now, every time, this body is, or has been, or will be made of atoms. Now tell me, when you exhale, carbon dioxide emits. That means your body digests. I use that word, but not the real digestion I'm talking about. And it produces energy between the bonds between carbon and hydrogen, carbon and oxygen, and take energy. That's how your body works. Then rest of the things should be removed. That's why carbon becomes carbon dioxide and come from your nose. That's why I told you, if you don't take anything, if you don't have anything for a month, 2 months, 3 months, you can't live. But if you can live, let's assume that you can live for 5 months, but you don't take anything, and you will become a skeleton. You just inhale and exhale. Then tell me, you are nothing but a lump of atoms. You are means the body. Therefore, you can't expect your body to be transformed. We are talking about decaying things, decaying processes. Because like when someone dies, if you take a carcass maybe, or a human body, then it decays. That's what we say. It decays. Okay, it decays. We believe it. It decays. Okay. Now, we take a dead body and it has been decaying for 5 months, let's take. And we check what atoms does it has. What do you find? Find rotten carbon. Will you find? Because it's rotten, no? Okay? What do you think? Will you find rotten carbon, rotten hydrogen, rotten oxygen? Will you find these things? No. You will find carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Then how can you say that it has been transformed? From what to what? But if you fixed this body as an entity, and if you fix that rotten body as an entity, now you can see a transformation. That's why I told you. This very body is nature. That rotten body is nature. If you can accept nature, you can live with your rotten arm. I know that. I know that. Now you feel that, oh, how can I do that? That's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. But if something happens to your arm, and then it has a disease of decaying it starts to melt. Let's assume that it starts to melt. It is rotten and smelly. But doctors say that we will cure you. It will take another 2 months, we will cure you. But actually, I'm not a doctor. I also can cure your rotten arm. I have one medicine, but you have to pay. But if it is your mistake, I don't pay it back. Okay? I'll say that I'll cure you after 3 months, but you had to prepare yourself. But first of all, pay my payments. And you can't be unhappy about your arm. If you can stay another 3 months without being unhappy, I'll cure your arm. Can you do that? No. Because I told you that because I'm not a doctor, I can't cure that. It is impossible for me to cure that, but I can offer you something because I know that it's impossible you not to being unhappy. Because if you feel that smell, you can't tolerate it. You will cry. But if you can accept nature, this is nature. When you go to a forest, you will see rotten animal bodies. By seeing that, perhaps you do that, but that's nature. You accept that. But when it comes to your arm, you don't like it. Because you don't like yourself. Can't you see that? We are going to help you. We are going to help you. Actually, we do all these things to help you out. Because you will suffer. Just imagine that when you talk, your mouth is so smelly. Just think about that. How? Then you use all sort of mouthwashes and you take everything, you buy everything, you go to doctors and you try to cure it. And you try to Sinhalese medicine, you try to take Sinhalese medicines or whatever, so on and so forth. You try everything because you can't tolerate that. Perhaps your husband or wife can tolerate it, but you can't. How can you have a happy life? If you can't accept yourself, if you can't accept what you experience, if you can't accept what you are, how can you have a happy life, ladies and gentlemen? What's the point in earning all sort of money, all these things, all sort of properties? What's the point in having all these things if you can't be happy even for a moment? That's the thing. Just think about that. You have to look after yourself. That's what we always ask you to do. You always look after others. You always look after your family. But you are not happy. You are not happy. And you know that if the blind if the blind teaches others, you know what happened to others. That's the problem. If the blind follow the blind, everybody will fall into pit. We know that. Therefore, if you can't be happy, you can't teach your children to be happy. Therefore, they will follow you and they will also fall into the same pit. And you can't have a happy family. Everybody has their own problems because they can't be satisfied. Then perhaps you have to cook 10 meals because you have 10 members in your family. That's why a marriage is only a sacrifice. One has to sacrifice. Therefore, if you want to sacrifice your life on behalf of someone out of compassion, get married. If you want to be happy, come to us. We will teach you how to look after yourself. The society will teach you how to look after the society. That's why when you murder someone, the society wants you to be executed. Do you? Accidentally, you stabbed someone and he died. Accidentally, you didn't want to do that. It was a quarrel. You did that. And finally, now you are to be executed. Do you want to be executed? Do you? You have done a mistake. It was a mistake. Accidentally it happened. Do you want? No. Even though you did a willful murder, just tell me, do you want to be executed? No. You want to live. But what the society wants? The society wants you to be executed. That's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. The society always think about the society. But you are deceived. You think that our society is for us. My family will look after me. No, you look after your family. Your family never look after you. By saying that, I'm not asking you to leave your family. What I'm asking is, look after yourself. Think about your life. How it has been 30, 50, 40, whatever years. But you may have earned a lot of money, a lot of wealth, a lot of respect. But still you hate yourself. Therefore, actually, you have earned everything, but you couldn't earn yourself. Please let us teach you how to earn yourself, how to love yourself, how to accept yourself. Then you can live a happy life wherever you are, with whom you are. You can live happily because you don't expect anything from the world. You are satisfied with what you have. This is the Buddha's teaching. This is the teaching we have understood. We can guide you. But the thing is, you need to come to us. Jesus Christ once said, "Come to me." He didn't say that, "Let me come to you." Those who... He didn't say that. "Come to me, those who weary and burdened. I'll give you rest." Then if you have understood this, my request is, look after yourself. We will help you. We will guide you. We can be the voice. But you have to be the legs. You have to walk. We will show you the path. You have to walk. Actually, if we can, walk on behalf of you and take you to the end. We will do that happily. The only problem is I can't be in charge of your mind. Your mind can protect itself. I'm not saying that you can protect your mind. Don't forget that there is no such thing called you. The mind can protect itself. Therefore, we need to accept, learn, study noble views. Then the mind, the process of the mind occurs with those views, those noble views, and it cleanses the environment of the mind, which is called Jati. You have your own Jati, you know that. That's the environment of the mind. Next time, we will talk about that. The environment of the mind, what do you have to cleanse? The mind or the environment of the mind. But the thing is, I'll use some words, ladies and gentlemen. When I say environment of the mind, I will explain that and use the same thing. Because, most of the time, I will use Pali terms. Because otherwise, you never understand. You never understand. Because if you take translations, no, it doesn't work. Therefore, we will take one word, and like Jati, now we know that it's false sense of existence, but it's not enough. We will talk about more, and we will see how the false sense of existence is created. When I say that is created, no, how the false sense of existence is created. It is created. Then first of all, you should know that it is created. It is not fixed. It is not you. It is created. If it is created, then we can stop. We can cease the process. That's why we practice. We can practice. When you practice, you can cease the process. That's the cessation of suffering. Actually, cessation of suffering means cessation of Jati. Took the word, direct translation from Pali to English, then suffering, then they got suffering, now they try to cease suffering. You don't have to cease suffering. You don't have to deal with suffering. Because suffering is a side effect. You don't have to deal with that. You need to cure the main wound. Like yesterday's sermon, you have to find the main switch. If you can find the main switch, you don't have to switch all the switches off. You don't have to do that. Go to the main switch. That's what the Buddha taught us. The path to find the main switch and how to switch it off. I believe in you. Are you? Do you? Do you believe in you? The thing is, I believe in you because I know that everything is a process. I know that you are a process. I know that if you get the right cause or causes, the right effect will be created. But you think that I'm an entity. How can I achieve my salvation? That's what you think. Don't forget that the theory of everything is the theory of cause and effect. You are nothing but the theory of cause and effect, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, your salvation is also the same. Perhaps you don't believe in yourself because you feel an entity and you think that, how can I achieve Nibbana? Look what I have done. Look what I have earned. Perhaps I can't add 2 plus 2 is 2,500. Then how can I achieve my salvation? No. You can't add 2 plus 2 to 2 because you haven't learned that. If you can take all the causes together, you will say that it's 4. Don't worry about that. Surely you can understand 2 plus 2 is 4 or 4,000. You know that. What I'm talking is, right? Perhaps you think that only monks can understand this. That's what some people let you believe. If you are not an intellectually disabled person, you can understand this. Understand, but you need to apply. Are you ready to apply? Then from next week, we will talk about how to accept yourself. Agree? How to accept yourself. Then if you can accept yourself, you will be the happiest person in the world. I guarantee you, you will do that. Because if I can do it, you can do it. Because we all are nature. Whatever happened in this body happens according to the theory of cause and effect. Whatever happens in this body happens according to the theory of cause and effect. Therefore, you will be okay, but do 2 things: listen and practice. Listen and practice. Only listen, then you will become a hypocrite. And remember this, write down this. Saying means nothing if your actions betray you. Therefore, what you have heard, what you have studied, means nothing if you can't implement this and if you can't experience this. You can listen to 1,000 sermons, but if you are still suffering, there's a problem in your path because you only listen, you never practice. My request is, please listen and practice. Can you do that? If you can do that, we can help you. If you can do that, within 6 months, you will be on the other side. I'm telling you, just believe. Just believe me. But don't force yourself to do anything. You just need to come to the sermon and listen and implement. That's it. If you can understand what I have understood, you can have this lifestyle, ladies and gentlemen. But don't force yourself. Let's go smoothly. You will see. Okay? Does it make sense to you, everyone? Okay, then I'll see you next week. And again, don't forget, you need to implement, practice. May the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem be with you all. Thank you.